July's movie lineup is absolutely loaded. Honestly, one of the best group of movies since I started making these new release videos. There's massive blockbusters, long-awaited sequels, and even a few hidden gems that make July a great month to be a movie lover. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Matthew, and this is CineGold. There's a lot to get through this month, so let's jump right in. From the franchise that refuses to go extinct comes Jurassic World Rebirth, the fourth Jurassic World film and the seventh movie in the Jurassic Park franchise overall. Rebirth is supposedly bringing a darker tone to the franchise and is being directed by Gareth Edwards, who directed 2014's excellent Godzilla, as well as Star Wars Rogue One. Rebirth stars Scarlett Johansson and Jonathan Bailey, and while it's technically a sequel to Jurassic World Dominion, it's a standalone story, which means you don't have to have seen Dominion in order to enjoy it. Jurassic World Rebirth will drop in theaters on July 2nd. Then there's a couple of big sequels hitting Netflix in July. The first is one fans have been requesting for a while. Picking up 5 years after the first film, The Old Guard 2 follows Andy and her team of immortal warriors as they face off against a powerful, long-lost immortal who threatens their very existence. The Old Guard is based on the comic book of the same name, and the first film was a surprise hit for Netflix with some great action scenes and a solid performance from Charlize Theron. The Old Guard 2 adds Uma Thurman to the cast and could be a good choice to stream from home in this busy month. You can find it on Netflix on July 2nd. Prime subscribers also have something to look forward to this month with a brand new action comedy movie.
It's our debut duet. Duet? Yeah, it's like I'm Dr. Dre and you're Eminem and we're taking that stage for the first time together. I'm Eminem.
This is called Heads of State, and it's about a U.S. president and UK prime minister who must join forces in order to stop a global threat. Heads of State comes from the same director as action films Hardcore Henry and Nobody, Ilya Naishuller, and reteams the Suicide Squad stars Idris Elba and John Cena. Kinda looks like your classic buddy action film. You can watch Heads of State on Amazon Prime starting on the 2nd. Next up is a new Netflix thriller in which an apartment building becomes a prison overnight.
What is this?
Hello?
Hello?
This is Brick, a psychological thriller in which residents of an apartment building find they are suddenly trapped by a mysterious, impenetrable brick wall. I'm always a fan of these random mystery thriller movies that show up on Netflix, like The Platform and It's What's Inside. Don't know if Brick will be as good as those, but it's got a similar sort of eerie atmosphere. It will be a Netflix exclusive that releases on July 10th. Then a whole new era for DC Comics begins on July 11th when it reboots its cinematic universe with one of its biggest stars.
Hey, buddy. Eyes up here.
The Man of Steel returns in Superman, kicking off the new DC universe with David Corenswet stepping into the iconic role. It's being directed by James Gunn, who is most known for the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. I'm really excited about this one. I've always been a big Superman fan, and the trailer has got me excited. From the bright, colorful palette to Lex Luthor, and even some of the weirder touches like Crypto the Dog and Green Lantern Guy Gardner's gloriously goofy, comic-accurate haircut. It all just feels right, but will it deliver? I don't know, but I have high hopes. I will definitely be checking out Superman when it drops in theaters on July 11th. And our next film is part legacy sequel, part brutal slasher revival.
Now, feel that love entering your body and emanating out from your chest.
This is I Know What You Did Last Summer, which is a sequel to the very first movie in the franchise, which released back in 1997. It also brings back original cast members Jennifer Love Hewitt and Freddie Prinze Jr. In case you missed the original or have forgotten in the last 28 years, it's about a fatal accident which a group of teens vow to keep quiet, but they start to receive terrifying messages from someone who knows what they did. I Know What You Did Last Summer will release in theaters on July 18th. Next up is the latest film from Ari Aster, the prolific director behind highly regarded horror films like Hereditary and Midsommar.
These are your streets.
No, they're your streets to keep safe.
Aster's latest film is called Eddington, and as you could probably tell, it's not a horror film this time around. It's actually a contemporary Western comedy and seems to have more in common with his most recent film, Beau is Afraid, which also starred Joaquin Phoenix. Personally, I'm a huge Ari Aster fan, and I was really excited to hear about this film, which will also star Pablo Pascal. Eddington's about a small town sheriff and mayor who feud about pandemic restrictions and conspiracies. Ari Aster's films have always been pretty divisive, and I imagine his latest A24 film will be the same, but in a month loaded with blockbuster type films, this one's a welcome curveball and could be one of the surprise hits of the month. Eddington will release in theaters on July 18th. And next up is a brand new horror film from the creator of The Purge.
Hey man, I'm not gonna hurt you.
This is The Home, the latest from James DeMonaco, creator of the Purge franchise. The Home brings his signature suspense and gore to a film about a caretaker who realizes the residents in his retirement home are harboring some dark secrets. The Home stars Pete Davidson and can be found in theaters on the 25th. Then there's not one but two superhero reboots in July, the second one being the return of Marvel's First Family.
Your planet is now marked for death.
Here we go again with another film adaptation of the Fantastic Four, this time titled First Steps. It brings the First Family officially into the MCU for the first time, with the previous adaptations being 20th Century Fox films. First Steps is set in a parallel Earth from the other MCU films, this one with a stylish 1960s-inspired retrofuturism. It follows the Fantastic Four, who must defend Earth from the ravenous space god Galactus and his enigmatic herald Silver Surfer. Will the latest take on the Fantastic Four finally do the First Family justice? It surely can be worse than the 2015 adaptation, and with stars like Pedro Pascal and Vanessa Kirby, it's at least got a chance. The Fantastic Four First Steps will drop in theaters on July 25th. Then, if you still haven't got your fill of nostalgia in July, you can always check out Happy Gilmore 2.
Jacko. Tiger. SpongeBob? What is that? What's with the beaver teeth?
Happy Gilmore 2 is a sequel 30 years in the making and brings back the now retired golfer as he returns to the sport to fund his daughter's schooling. The original Happy Gilmore was peak Adam Sandler, who has been nowhere near his prime for quite some time. Can Part 2 knock off the dust and bring back fans of his 90s films? It's bringing back a ton of the cast from the original, as well as plenty of modern day stars and professional golfers. I guess we'll see when Happy Gilmore 2 tees off on Netflix later this month, July 25th. And we still have 5 bonus movies I'll run you through real quick, starting with Dora and the Search for Sol Dorado. This is a sequel to the 2019 Dora film and is set to release on Nickelodeon and Paramount Plus on July 2nd. Then there's Medea's Destination Wedding. Apparently there's still fans of this franchise out there because they keep making these movies. If you're one of them, you can check it out on Netflix on the 11th. Next is Abraham's Boys, a Dracula Story, which is a horror film from Joe Hill, who is most known for Lock and Key and being Stephen King's son. It releases in theaters on the 12th. Smurfs is a new live-action animated adaptation of the classic children's franchise. It hits theaters on the 18th. And finally, there's Bambi's The Reckoning, another horror take on the classic character gone public domain. It will release on the 25th. That is it for the month of July. Quite a lot of stuff to check out. Which movies, if any, do you plan to check out? Hit me up in the comments below. And once again, thank you for watching. I will see you again soon.